Genetic enhancements are not a good idea. And unfortunately, I think that's where our world is heading into because people are already enhancing themselves. And I can really just imagine that they're going to really try to enhance their children as well. But I don't think it's a good idea at all, really at all. So there's a book that I'm reading, and it's called 33 Predictions for the Next 33 Years, What You Must Know About the Future. And this book has a lot of information in it about what they predict is going to happen in the next 33 years or so. Now, there's some of the things that I am interested in, like holographic teleportation. That does sound interesting, but it sounds scary at the same time. But it sounds really interesting to me because of the stuff that I would use that for, which would be like going and traveling and seeing different parts of the world or seeing hidden parts of the world, even. That would be interesting to see, for that, in my lifetime. But as far as the genetic enhancements goes, I don't think that's a good idea at all, really at all. And I really think people really need to pay attention to that because I'm going to give you a brief little page about it and just show you exactly what it says, which is pretty scary. So, for instance, right here, it says there's going to be designer babies and social equality. The concept of designer babies raises the question of whether genetic enhancement will become another tool for perpetuating social inequality. If only the rich can afford genetic enhancements for their children, this could create a society divided by genetics, where certain people have advantages in terms of intelligence, physical ability, and health. Terrible idea to be doing that. Now you're playing God, and I don't like when you try to manipulate God's work. And nothing, in my opinion, tops God's work. Period. Whatever happens, it happens. Now I made a video a while back about gene. Now, if you want to help perfect your gene, there is ways to do that, and I list all those different things in that video about gene. About changing up your diet, changing up your mentality about how you look at things in life, having more positive thoughts instead of negative thoughts. I feel all your emotions or what your current state in goes into that child to make that child. So for instance, if you have multiple kids, if you have say four children, they're going to all be different because you're going to feel differently every time you have sex to make those children. So whatever your emotional state, mental state, education state was at that point in time in your life, it's going to be different from each child, in my opinion. Now, if you're just the same all the way, then they're going to probably be all the same. And most kids usually do the same things, period, all the time. But they're going to be differences. One might be smarter than the other one. One might be stronger than the other one. All those things matter, in my opinion. But I believe you can do that naturally within yourself, and it's called raising your gene, enhancing your gene. But this kind of stuff here, definitely not. This is just a bad idea, in my opinion. And then look, ethical boundaries. The potential to enhance traits like intelligence, appearance, and physical abilities opens up ethical concerns about the limits of human intervention in evolution. Should we allow people to genetically alter their children to be better versions of themselves? Where do we draw the line between improving human health and playing God? When I be recommending all those videos talking about recommending different kind of vitamins, supplements to use, that's to help in better your livelihood, you as the person, individual. Like doing all this stuff, like this is just like insane to me to do. Like you're really playing God, and God don't like that at all. And I'm gonna defend God forever with that one. And then look at this one, shaping the future of humanity. Human genetic enhancement offers both boundless possibilities and deep ethical challenges. The ability to modify our genetics could lead to healthier, smarter, and longer lived individuals. However, the social, ethical, and moral implications of such power are profound as we move into an era where genetic enhancement is increasingly possible. We must ask ourselves, what kind of humanity do we want to create? And that's in this book. That's probably the only thing that I have a real big issue with in this book is the genetic enhancement part, because I know it's going to come. I know we're going to be seeing that soon. I mean, I already look at it like in sports, you know, they used to always be saying, like they had a movie called White Men Can't Jump a few years back. It was just like a movie to me. But now all of a sudden, that doesn't even mean nothing no more. Uh, I even heard some people of like all different races, like talk about, oh, he's only running that fast because he's black. Well, I personally believe that black people's athleticism and strength and stuff like that came from always working out in those fields, and they was constantly working their bodies over and over. I think that kind of like genetically just made them that way. Like, because you kept having this over and over for 400 plus years, and this is all they're doing. It's just physical hard labor. Well, your body is constantly being worked. It's not being really relaxed or anything like that. It makes sense to me in that manner. That's why that happens that way. I mean, you look at the movie Get Out. This is a prime example of this kind of stuff right here, and they kind of showed you what they was doing in Get Out, which was very illegal. Even it's just a movie, but it was still very illegal. But I'm just saying, this kind of stuff right here, I don't agree with, but I do kind of understand the prediction. I can see it. It is moving in that direction. I just hope it doesn't catch on with people. There's better ways to do this. I don't know why you can't ask God for a specific way you want your children to be. You could just always pray and ask, meditate. Stuff like that always works to me. Also, like I said, from the male point of view, working on your gene. If you go look at my video about gene, I explain it a lot in detail more in that video. But just to give you a brief, thing about it, all you got to do is change how you look at things in your life, physically, mentally, health wise, everything. And then you could probably see a difference if you do decide to make children, how they're going to be and how they're going to be acted and everything. I mean, I don't really think anybody can get that right. Like only God really can. You're only created the way God wanted you to be. But this kind of stuff right here is scary because people really want to push the envelope on everything. They just don't want to just live and just, hey, work with what you got. No, they always got to figure out, hey, well, we can do this. You got to stop pushing the envelope, in my opinion. But this stuff right here, this was just a little bit part of the book. I haven't even finished reading the book all the way in its totality. But this part right here, I definitely suggest people be paying attention to this, because they saying this is being worked on as we speak, and that this would be around the year 2036 when you would really be seeing this like out in the open. So about 11 years from now, whole 10, 11 years from now. That's the prediction, what it says. But I really just don't agree with this one at all. I really hope this prediction doesn't even happen. I hope it doesn't. But the way stuff is going now with science and everything like that, I'm not going to be surprised if I see this on the horizon. But yeah, this is something that's in the book that I just didn't agree with. But I just feel there is better, natural, and morally right ways to do it instead of this way, in my opinion. I'm just saying.